Hi everyone, there's a couple of options to make transitions to the next round in your beanies look less like they've got an obvious seam. One is to make chain stitches that you don't actually count as a stitch, so you push them to the back of your beanie. So you could do one chain for half double crochet, then push the stitch to the back. When you slip stitch to join the round, ignore that one chain and slip stitch instead right into the top of the half double crochet stitch. The other for double crochet, then you do 2 chains to start and then double crochet into the same stitch that the 2 chains came from. And when you're closing that round with a slip stitch, again, ignore those 2 chains and instead just slip stitch straight into the top of that double crochet stitch. There is another option, which is standing stitch. So when you're commencing, you do 1 chain and work a single crochet stitch. I'll just do the standing double crochet first, then 1 chain, and what I'm going to do is just go through the front loop of that single crochet only and make another single crochet stitch like so. So that gives you a stitch that's approximately double crochet height. It's a little bit fatter than chain, so it won't be so obvious that there's been that's where the new round commences. With the half double crochet, you've got a couple of options there. So the way I write it's probably makes it a bit easier for you to work out how to do, but I actually tend to do it a little bit differently to that. So I'll just go back and make a chain again. So I've slip stitched for my previous round, make a chain, make a single crochet stitch. Now what I actually tend to do, so make a chain again to stand for your next single crochet stitch. I actually tend to go, rather than into the top 2 loops of the stitch, I tend to go into the front loop and this loop here that's under the stitch. So see here, not those 2, but these 2 here, like so. Just then you don't have to rotate the stitch so much, but you can instead, if it makes it easier, work a chain and then work a single crochet stitch into the top of both those stitches. So what you just need to do then is you just need to slightly rotate the stitch when you're working your next stitches. And by the time you've come back and you've slip stitched into that first stitch, you won't have any issues with that stitch at all. So it just makes, like I said, it makes slightly thicker stitches, as you can see. So the stitch resembles more closely the other stitches in the round, so it makes it a lot less obvious that that you've commenced a new round. Because when you just use chains themselves, especially if you're not using chains and a stitch in that same starting stitch, it can become quite obvious, a thinner seam all throughout the beanie. So this just gives you another option, something you can consider with my patterns, that if you can absolutely start your round exactly how you prefer, like you don't need to do a standing stitch, but like I said, probably then I'd use the other method of working chains and a stitch in that first stitch, so that you can push the chains to the back and you're only slip stitching into a stitch rather than chains to close the round, because then at least you'll have all your stitches looking the same. You won't have that thin chain seam. Anyway, I hope that's helped. Bye.